What's up? What's up with it? Back in the building another Wednesday. It's the Diehard Fan Show brought to you by Sports for America. Shout out Nerd Focus Energy Drink. Uh, Fam Brand. Check them out at fam.brand Instagram as you see scrolling across the bottom of the screen, along with Fancy Lips Cosmetics. You like organic lip glosses and makeup supplies, hit up Fancy Lips. It's yours truly, the People's Coach, Cornelius Cole. Lots of topics in sports this past week. Since the last time we spoke, we're going to start off with that NCAA tournament and how it turned out. No number ones on the men's side. No number ones in the men's Final Four. Let that sink in. Um, it's very, very impressive. And like I said, it was time for a change. If you listen to me, it was time for a change, and a change was made. Big time. Big ups to San Diego State. Big ups to Florida Atlantic. Big ups to Miami University. And the only one that we can say that's been there before and then conquered this is the Yukon Huskies. Shout out to the Yukon Huskies men. We know the Yukon Huskies women didn't make it, eliminated in the Sweet 16, had made final, uh, haven't missed an Elite Eight in 16 straight tries. So they streak ended at 16. Remember, it was 29 straight Sweet 16s, and then it was 16 straight uh, Elite Eights. So but looking on the women's side, Iowa versus South Carolina, that look like that's going to be an instant classic. You got Caitlin Clark, who set the record for a 40-point triple double, men and women. That's a stat right there. That's crazy. A 40-point triple double. Yeah, she did that thing. And now she Iowa up against arguably pretty team Carolina. Watch South Carolina against Caitlin Clark. Are they gonna be able to stop that long range? Because my girl be pulling them from anywhere, man. She own it. But shout out to Kansas State's Noel, 5'8", y'all, 5'8", balling in that tournament. He balled in that tournament. Unfortunately, Kansas State got knocked off, but he did set a NCAA tournament record for assists with 19. Got to give him props for that. That's in a game, in a single game. He did his thing. But at 5'8", question for me is, will he be, will he make the draft? And it also made me think about, in the NBA, the players that was real tough, being that short or being short, being under 6 foot to ball in the league, or 6 foot and below. That's not named Isaiah Thomas. And I'm talking Isaiah from the Detroit Pistons, by the way, but not Isaiah and not Allen Iverson, but you've had the Muggsy Bogues, 5'4", the Earl Boykins, at certain times, those guys balled out. You had the other Isaiah Thomas, who was balling for a while, and then I think he got injured, and then some issues, locker room issues, and then you didn't see him no more in the league. I mean, I guess I'm assuming that's what happened to him, but he was balling for quite a while, ball a few teams. It's been others. When you think about it, Spud Webb, of course, with the amazing leaps. What's his name? He tried to go boxing. Nate Robinson, he won slam dunk contests, stuff like that. But, you get these stars. But I was looking at Noel, and what I was impressed with is the passing ability, especially that one-hand bounce pass, that one-hand skip pass across court, the no-look passes that he was throwing. The guy's a highlight to watch. It was pretty impressive to watch the young man play. But his team didn't make it. San Diego State seems like they have a good they're bringing into it. And here's the thing. Uh, level is going to make it level. think about that, is going to make it to the championship game. The national championship game is going to at least feature one team that has never made it. So that's impressive. I mean, provided UConn doesn't win, then you'll have two teams with Miami and one of those teams. But I'm thinking it's going to be a good game. I'm hoping for good games. Also, when you look at the Miami and UConn matchup, Miami seems to be a tougher team to me right now because they beat two teams, the two Texas teams that was tough. But the collapse of the one seed show, like what I was saying before, that transfer portal opening up things for everybody. The NIL situations, combined with the transfer portal, seem to be doing wonders for these schools right now. I told you, like, it's starting to even out. The bigger name schools just don't have the upper hand like they had, even though they still get some of the top tier talent. But now the talent is so spread out that I necessarily don't think you have to have all the top tier talent. I think you have to have just a collective group of talented individuals and athletic individuals, and you see what can happen. Because you see San Diego State is athletic. They put pressure on you on the defensive end. They're relentless on the glass, but that athleticism helps them out a lot. That's what I noticed about their squad. Miami is just tough defensively. They play a physical game. Now, some will say that, San Diego State made it in a crazy way, which they did, whether that was a foul or not. I don't discuss that. Let's just teams that are there be happy that they achieved. I didn't like the idea of what fan likes to see a team make it by free throws, unless it was something very, very egregious, man. But it is what it is. You can't change the call. It happened. But then when you look at Florida Atlantic, they played solid. They're fast in the open court, but they can shoot the three. What I notice about them is that they can shoot the three. Say they can actually shoot from distance up close, and they could play they play a multifaceted game within the game as far as how they set up their offense and how quickly they transition on defense. They getting out on breaks. And they taking advantage of jumping the passing lanes. Again, the athleticism these days is just unbelievable on all sides. But when you start talking Miami and UConn probably the favorite. But like I said, Miami they beat the tougher teams. So I think that I think Miami gonna probably take that one. But when you start looking at some of these players, you see the players that are already trying to enter the NBA draft, and you see those going back to play again. Caleb Love, I guess he's not satisfied in North Carolina, so he's saying he's leaving. And he's going to enter the transfer portal. That's going to help some team out. The young man has ball, but I think that's just where it is right now, that you can go anywhere and anything can happen. And for the first time in a long time, not that I haven't been excited in years past for the Final Four, but this year it's something special because it's teams that's never made it this far. And let's just be honest, may it never make it again, or it may become routine. But those once in a lifetime moments, they all they special right now. Like I said that Fairleigh Dickinson already had their championship moments. Now these teams have something. Three of these teams have a chance to do something that their institutions have never done, and welcome it. Let's see what happens. But Friday, you don't forget they had the women's games going on, so it's going to be pretty tough. I didn't even mention LSU versus Virginia Tech, which I think the other game is going to be a classic. But I personally think that LSU is going to mop up the floor with Virginia Tech, and the only reason I say that is because LSU looks like they're picking up momentum at the right time. Out number ones was gone except South Carolina. So you're looking at a pretty good indication of where the college game is going as far as, man, even on the women's side, the talent is getting more spread out. So you have to look at some of these lower schools making an impact. But I think right now it's going to be a LSU. And in the other game, even though I think it's going to be a classic, I'm going for the upset. I'm going for Iowa to pull off the upset. I just think Caitlin Clark, if she comes with that momentum, but I think South Carolina going to do a good job of shutting her teammates down. They might frustrate her a little bit, because they do play a physical game. So, I expect the game to be physical. I expect the refs to let them play and not do what we just saw. I expect all the games to be highly competitive. It's just that sometimes you don't have enough, and I don't think Virginia Tech is going to have enough, and I think South Carolina. They're going to have to bring it. They can't be comfortable and just say, they're going to have to earn it. And I think that if they slip a little bit in a close game, if it's close, then I think Clark going to pull it out. And that's why I think it's going to be close throughout. And I think that Clark going to pull it out. Now, switching up a little bit and talk NBA for a minute. Man, you don't know what's going to happen in the NBA West. But before I get into all that, another shout out to Nerd Focus, the energy drink. Check out Nerd Focus. Get your brain right, your game tight with Nerd Focus. Now, the West, who knows what's going to happen in the Western Conference? The shuffling of the teams, the up and down. But every team got about like 5 or 6 games left. They're coming down the home stretch, got like a week and a half or so left of the regular season here. It's dwindling down. And just, like from day to day, things are changing. But the collapse of Kyrie and Luka is not a good look. But I told y'all, if you listen to me, it really wasn't going to work because nobody in Dallas seems to care about playing defense, and that even goes for Jason Kidd. I mean, you shipped away potentially what could have been a decent defense. I think Dallas hurts right now because of the loss of Dinwiddie. I'm just going to put that out there because he was one of those that would at least attempt to play both of the ball. You don't have that anymore. So hurts right. Everybody's right there with each other. It's a close race in the West. And Warriors, I told y'all the Warriors might be that sleeper team. I told y'all that last week, and now you hear the experts saying the same thing, that the Warriors may be. Remember all that first, that the Warriors may be that sleeper team, but Kevin Durant's back tonight, so we'll see. We might get a glimpse of what we saw what Phoenix could be when they are clicking, but against a little bit different competition because I believe they play the T-Wolves, tonight. So we'll see where they are. The T-Wolves hungry, trying to get in. Phoenix trying not to fall too much further than they already have. I think, but pretty much most of the teams are where they are, but it might be a shift from 5 down to, I think the first 4 teams are still going to be, you got the Nuggets at the top, you got the Grizzlies, you got the Kings, and then you got right now fighting for the 4th and 5th spot, the Clippers and the Suns, but I think the Suns going to hold that 4th spot. So, but I think, it might be a shift between the Clippers at 5, and then they might drop to 6. Who knows without Paul George what's really going to happen there. But if it's no change, then you're looking at a 4-5 matchup where I think that if Paul George is able to play, I actually think the Clippers could upset the Suns in the first round, and then all that talk about KD and Booker and CP and Aiden and all that stuff is out the window. I think that could be a good matchup. So I'm hoping that stays the same, that 4th and 5th. Looking at the Golden State Warriors, man, trying to hold on, trying to stay right there. But they right there, 5 and 6 are shifty. You could switch those off at any time. So and nothing's solidified yet. I see LeBron James came back. Maybe they'll start winning with him instead of, winning without him. Who knows what's going to happen there. But at the same time, like I said, I told y'all this last week, I want LeBron in the game. I want all the stars to play. So I want LeBron in the game when they lose, when the Lakers lose. I want him playing. No excuses. Don't want to hear no excuses. But everybody saw the whole Patrick Beverly. I told you, man, the guy, I think I believe the Lakers playing the Bulls today, and yeah, it's the Lakers and the Bulls again. And this time they in Chicago. You remember last time, Patrick Beverly, the small. I think the Lakers going to embarrass them today, and once they embarrass them, then you'll see that all that, oh, he's too small stuff from Patrick Beverly, all those antics don't mean anything. But he said he was going to take it personally to try to stop LA from making it. But, one man don't make the whole team. We're going to see what the Bulls do if the Bulls welcome a challenge, because we know the Lakers going to be ready and they're going to be trying to get that win. The Lakers going to be trying to get that dub. They need that dub to stay in the race right now in the thick of the play-in. But like I said, 1 or 2 games could make a whole lot of difference over there in that West. And in the East, we talk about that all the time, the top teams. So look at the bottom of the East, though. Going into the play-in and stuff like that, like Miami finding themselves in a fight, which who would have expected that? But if I expect anybody to come out on top, in a 1-game scenario, if they have to be in the play-in, then I'm looking at, Miami being able to overcome because of the coaching, coaching pedigree, Hall of Fame. They're getting ready during the Final Four. They're going to be announcing the Hall of Fame, the NBA Hall of Fame. I've talked about it a little bit here and there, but you got Popovich, you got Coach Popovich, you got Becky Hammond, you got Tony Parker, you got Dirk Nowitzki, Dwayne Wade. I mean, you got a pretty good list of players going in. And the big talk is, do they all deserve to be in? I think Tony Parker deserves. Like I said, I've said it before. Like I challenge you. I challenge NBA analysts and experts. If you're just a pure fan, I challenge you to find anybody that put up the kind of percentages that Tony Parker did at certain points in his career, where he was killing points for a guard going in there paint point. In his day, it was all of, in the bulk of his day, it was all the Giants. They still played on the inside. So, him with the floater over the top, Tony Parker was, always one of those that led guards in shooting percentage, because he shot such a high percentage with that floater in the lane and, those layups, and just playing downhill and being a solid team player. I think Tony Parker, Dirk Nowitzki, I think, man, you can't argue. I don't like the Mavericks. Even though I'm bringing you this show live from Dallas, by the way, I don't like the Mavericks, but Dirk Nowitzki did do his thing, man. He's consistent. When you think Dirk, I think consistency. And I always bring up a moment where he got his nose shattered playing against Karl Malone of the Utah Jazz in the playoffs, and how quickly he returned to that game, and how he came back, and how he was balling. I think Dirk, a solid player. He got him a championship out of the deal. Beating LeBron James, one of those 6 that have beat LeBron in the finals. Got to give it to Dirk Nowitzki. He can hang his hat on that. Not only that, like I said, averaging 20 plus for years, being one of the league's top tier scorers for a long time. So, you got to give Dirk his props. Dwayne Wade. I was a huge fan of Dwayne Wade when he first came into the league. I was a fan of Dwayne Wade all the way through. Didn't really like the whole, of course, I root against LeBron, so I really didn't like the whole Heatles vibe, but it was what it was. They did what they did. I actually like the fact that they split, won 2 championships, lost 2, when they went to 4 because of all the noise that they talked. But what I liked about Wade was not only coming from Marquette, and doing this thing, wasn't expected to be a superstar, but turns out to be quite the superstar down there in Miami. Great leader, won before LeBron ever came there. He had already won one with Shaq and the rest of that team. But I was thinking, overall, man, Dwayne Wade, what really made me a fan. And what really got me to thinking was early on in his career, the amount of hits that he would take and the amount of punishment he would take playing his style of basketball. Um, not, unafraid to take hits, but also welcoming the challenges. But um, it took its toll later on in his career. No doubt those injuries, they started to add up over a period of time. But the fact that he would put his body on the line, it's sort of like the AIs. There I go mentioning Allen Iverson again, but he took those bumps and bruises, and Dwayne Wade pretty much did the same thing, unafraid to go all out and make the sacrifices to win. You gotta applaud that. Gotta applaud that. And Becky Hammond, of course, um, WNBA head coach champion. Uh, you know, she plays like she's a champion on multiple levels, and not only that, but I think the biggest thing is crossing over to the men's game and being an assistant coach with the, being an assistant with the Spurs, which leads to Popovich and where Popovich ranks. Popovich is one of the few coaches that could say that he's won 5 or more championships. He puts his name up there with the Red Auerbachs and the Phil Jacksons. If I'm not mistaken, I don't even think Pat Riley got 5, right? As a head coach, I think Pat Riley got like 4 or something as a head coach or something like that. Not quite 5, but he puts himself up there. Greg Popovich puts himself there in the top tier, and um, but I can't say, like I said last week, it's disappointing to watch how he's flamed out after Tim Duncan's retired, after Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker are gone. After that core team. Now, were they a super team? Was that a super team? I don't know if that was a super team. I don't know by any standards if that meets the criteria of a super team, but I know that they were good together. That those core 3 were good together. They figured out ways to win, and it didn't matter what pieces you put around them. They were able to win. And with Popovich understanding what type of team he had, they were fundamentally sound. So when you watch the San Antonio Spurs today, it's awful to watch with all the turnovers. They don't even play like a with that style. It is ultimate discipline, not even reflective of what you've seen over the years from Popovich. Well, in my opinion, the last few years really just haven't been it for Popovich. But, still, hats off to him for making the Hall of Fame on his past achievements, because I'm sure it has something to do with what's going on now. It's going through the body of work, 20 plus years in the playoffs. And if this is the fall off, then that's what it is, because every team's going to have to go through rebuilds at some point. You just wonder how long before Popovich calls it quits or they turn things around. Who knows? Maybe the draft this year they'll get something, and then it'll be about something, because it seems like that's what they're living for. It looks like that's what they're living for to me. But hats off, and I can't forget about Paul Gasol. I almost forgot about Paul Gasol. Paul Gasol on an international level deserves the Hall of Fame. Plus, played in the NBA. Now, this is a guy that played year-round basketball for quite a long time. You got to remember that he was always on the French international teams and stuff. So, Powell played a lot of ball. And I think him moving to the Lakers was a great move for him, even though he kept the Grizzly organization up for a while. He was pretty much that superstar of that team. He led that team, uh, leading scorer for that team, put in a lot of, rebounder. Powell did what he had to do, but I think that when he got with Kobe, it was a special moment. It wasn't like the Shaq and Kobe moment, but, maybe a little bit smaller than that, but it was a great moment because they were able to get 2 out of 3 championships. You got to remember that Pau Gasol did bring LA some championships, did put himself out there. Not only that, but he was solid, a solid player. Uh, a little bit better defensively when he started playing with the Lakers. So maybe that had something to do with Kobe. Maybe that had something to do with Phil Jackson, or maybe it had something to do with them both. But I know he was already a pretty good shot blocker, weak side shot blocker. But he became more playing defense straight up. I think that's what champions do. a lot of times we always say, do champions elevate, do star players elevate the players around them? Do champions elevate the people around them? But sometimes champions raise their level of play also, and you saw that from Pau Gasol. So again, hats off to all those that look like they're gonna make the Hall of Fame because it looks like they all deserve to be in. I don't see one that I would complain about, not that shouldn't be on that list. Because from time to time you get those and it be puzzling. It's head scratches like, why are you on the list? What are you doing? Um, Other big news as far as paying attention, hockey. I gotta get this out there right now while I'm thinking about it. Connor McDavid for the Oilers, the Edmonton Oilers, did his thing. 140 points hasn't been done since 1996. That's a lot of points to score in hockey when you're thinking about it. But his totals, and you still got a little bit of the season to go, so you still got some games to go. So who knows where he's going to actually end up? But hitting 140 is a good thing that he's that's a blessing. Like I said, it hasn't been done since 1996, and I want to say that was Messier in '96 because I think if you go way back to another Edmonton Oiler, 149 something like that is Wayne Gretzky. But the great Wayne Gretzky, to be in that company is impressive. Shout out to McDavid, Connor McDavid, and also a shout out in the hockey world to the Bruins. Man, the Bruins, they've set a team personal record, but they still have a chance to set the NHL record. Don't know if they're gonna actually make it, but they have a chance to do that. Also in points as a team, also record wise. But either way, is that going to translate into them winning the title? I don't know if it's going to help them win the title or not, but we should see. And other things, just thinking about where people rank. I was talking about top, I was talking about top players, so we're going to shift a little bit because I want to talk about this NFL situation for a minute. Um, Not every day now is about Lamar Jackson. Teams just not Lamar in a sense right now. I don't understand he's trying to defend anything or putting anything out there. I mean, now he's throwing the Ravens to the bus. Uh, dropping a little bit too information in my mind, and I think that's what's going to make teams more hesitant. That if you quick to start dishing inside information that fast, then what you gonna do to the next organization is something that you got to look at. So maybe young Brush should keep it quiet for a minute and then just see what happens because I think it's teams that solidly want the guy, but they can't step forward yet. It's like they'll wait and they'll play this game, and then somebody will make an offer on them at some point. I just think he just played it out and say less, as the young kids say these days, as the young people say these days, man, say less. That's what he should do. Just say less. Leave it at that. Your record speaks for itself, Lamar. You don't have to defend anything. But I defend Lamar in the areas of his style of play. I said that last week. I'm tired of hearing that. Falcons said, "Oh, the injuries and the way that he played, man, it's called professional." A lot of us hurt while in the pocket. He didn't get hurt while he was running, But you get injuries. Now you saw Mahomes get hurt with nobody hitting him. Like different things happen. Like injuries occur in the game. Like the top tier quarterbacks get hurt. No matter what style of play you play, and I get it. The running style of play has always come with a share of injuries. I think he should cut back on some of the running. But does the Ravens, if he stays with the Ravens, will the Ravens offense allow him to cut back on it? What is it going to allow? I think you have to play with whatever's around you, and I think he's been able to adapt to the situation that the Ravens was never going to get receivers. And I understand why he wants to trade. It's one of those things, man. He says it's the value. They don't, like they don't respect his value, or they don't see his value, or they're not treating him as a valuable portion of the team, pretty much. But I think the Ravens want to pay him. I think that they put the non-exclusive tag out there to maybe give him a leeway to be able to negotiate or to see if they could match an offer. To like I said before, it's all about that filling out. But since no team has even really nibbled, other than a few conversations here and there, a few rumors about this team being interested, like the Colts being interested. I believe the Colts are interested if they really submit an offer. Then I believe you're interested. All that talk about, oh, we may be interested, man, I don't want to hear that. I want to see some interest because we see what's happening with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, right? The Jets are so stuck on Aaron Rodgers that they got their quarterback situation on pause until they can make a move and get Aaron Rodgers. They all sold. Jets sold on Aaron Rodgers, so if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, the egg on their face, and who knows what moves they're gonna have to make next. But at the same time, they've chosen. That's when a team has chosen you. That's when you chosen. Lamar has not been chosen. These teams talk. Oh, it may be this team. It may be that team. Maybe the Commanders. Maybe the Colts. Maybe. But forget the maybes. Nobody's made an offer. I'm not even finding it strange at this point. I think it's more to it. I don't think you could say it's the injuries, like Arthur Blank said, but it's not the injuries that's holding teams up, in my opinion. I think it's money solely holding them up and what you have to give up. And I don't think teams really feeling like I don't think Lamar has won enough recently to in the eyes of the owners and stuff like that to warrant the kind of money that he wants. To be honest, but you've seen teams give up the money, but what does that say? That there's, I don't know that I don't hear my team being mentioned. We talk like all these people talking, Dak, this, that, whatever, but nobody said, hey, the Cowboys should look at getting Lamar Jackson. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying, I've heard maybe San Francisco, but not really real serious takers. But you don't hear any of these other teams trying to get Lamar if their quarterback situations are bad. You don't even hear the Cardinals even thinking about it, even though they got a decent receiving core as of right now because it's a receiving core, but they don't have a quarterback because going back. I even heard, like crazy stuff that you hear. It's like, I think it was Max Kellerman or something like that talking about the Packers should be in the Lamar sweepstakes, but I don't want to hear that. The Packers better come out there with Jordan Love. That made me think if Jordan Love is not the quarterback for the Packers, then that's a problem, people. That's a problem. I think that's a problem if he's not he better be, all the hoopla surrounding Green Bay about Jordan Love, poor Jordan Love. Oh, Jordan Love waiting behind Aaron Rodgers, and now you made the move away from Aaron Rodgers. You said you done. He's saying he done. If it's not Jordan Love, then what, Green Bay? I don't think Green Bay would be in the sweepstakes. I mean, I felt what Kellerman was saying. They could probably use a Lamar and put him over the top. But I told y'all a team that I really see that would kill the game, and I'm gonna say it again: the New England Patriots would kill the game. I heard somebody else say that they see, if you listen to me, because I said it last week that, and the week before, that if New England was to land Lamar Jackson, they would be favorites to win it all with Bill Belichick's defense, the mastermind. With that running back they got back there, Stevens back there. Adding a Juju Smith-Schuster, but then add a couple of more. They added Gesicki, the tight end, man. Just the things that they've done, and not to mention, like I said, having a defense like they have, like that would put them over the top. I think New England should really consider it, but who knows? Bill Belichick stubborn with picks anyway. And the crazy thing is they, New England was notorious for getting low first round picks anyway. Because of their championship pedigree and always playing deep into the playoffs and stuff like that. So, it shouldn't be anything for them to, for a mastermind like Bill Belichick to want to give up 2 first round picks just to get a guy like that. Now, they have money under this, or how many moves would they have to make to get a guy like Lamar Jackson? Because Lamar has let it be known that it's going to cost whatever team that he goes to. But who knows what his price is? That's another thing. that we don't talk about when we talk Lamar Jackson. Price. What is his price? All these different numbers have been speculative. Nothing has been concrete. You got experts over here saying, you got insiders on one side saying it was this much. You got other people saying, nah, this is all that Lamar was offered. I mean, you don't know where the numbers are, and you don't know exactly what Lamar is asking for. But everybody keeps saying that, oh, it's somewhere around what Deshaun Watson made. But do we really know that? Because Lamar not saying anything about that. He's defending him sitting out and saying that he wasn't sitting out for money, which, you know, a hurt knee is a hurt knee. You hurt, you hurt. You injured, you injured. You couldn't play, you couldn't. That's neither here nor there. What he should be looking forward to is the future and getting his money. Now, sports sales, man, sales of franchises. That's a whew, like the Washington Commanders, 6 billion. You know, two bids in with 6 billion. You know, Magic Johnson being on, being a part of one of those groups that have submitted bids. I think it's a good look. Like, but man, the money is crazy. Like, who would have thought the Commanders worth 6 billion? But being worth 6 billion, you know, it shows you what the cost is. But that's not the only franchise. You know, I didn't really talk about it too much. But Michael Jordan giving up his majority, you know, selling his majority stakes in the Charlotte Hornets, but want to keep a portion of the team on a minority basis. But then I look at it, man, it is what it is. Like you look at those two franchises and two struggling owners but separate, struggling in different ways. Like we all know Snyder is like not very well liked and has made some horrible decisions, not just personnel wise, football wise, but from a standpoint of business, the scandals that he's been wrapped up in, the investigations, the stuff like that, really hurting. So it's not a big surprise that they selling the team. But I think the biggest thing is for Snyder is man, in this in this time where football teams evidently draw like these bigger values. You wouldn't expect these teams to be worth what they are 20 years less right now. 6 billion for that team. Snyder. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. I think know that the rest of the owners have to approve it. Have to approve a group or have to approve who they sell the team to or whatever. But at the same time, you can't beat it. And as far as the Charlotte Hornets, Michael Jordan just looking at I think his name's Colin Coward or whatever, that Herd show, whatever he was talking about. He was dogging Mike, saying Mike failed as an owner and all this different stuff. Mike didn't do well as an owner. But I don't know if you call flipping your money. Like the Hornets could possibly go for 4.5 billion. I mean, these are billions of dollars. 6 billion, 4.5 billion. Let those numbers sink in. I mean, that's a real thing. It is not what it is way more than what MJ invested in teams. So imagine the profit margins there. So I don't know if it's necessarily a failure when you flip the money, if you're looking at it business wise. Now, we as fans, yeah, it's a failure. Like I've said it before, man, I don't understand the Charlotte Hornets. I don't understand that organization. But I think Mike seemed like he was just stubborn and stuck to his guns a little bit too long. And now that pressure get thick, I mean, you ain't winning. It's like not winning enough. He made a good move with the pick of LaMelo, but some of his other picks have been questionable. But I think all of that's different. I think I've said it. Get a coach, man. Start there and get a reputable coach. If you're going to be getting this talent year after year and rebuilding or building something or putting something around LaMelo, but LaMelo has to stay on the court enough too. He's been hurt a lot. Seems like the Ball brothers get hurt a lot. That's another thing. But LaMelo hurt, injured, whatever. That hurts. Been injured most of the season. That hurts. Missed a lot of games. Same thing with the Commanders, though. Like they've drafted crazily at times and made crazy decisions. You talk about the whole Kirk Cousins thing, kept franchise tagging him, only for him to still go to Minnesota. They franchised him like a couple of years, and he still went to Minnesota. Like he made out like a fat cat, left them hanging, looking for a quarterback for a while, and they still really haven't solidified that quarterback position. Um, so hey, and then the Chase Young. Chase Young is another one of those. Like he's like the Zion Williamson of football. He's always hurt. High draft pick. Um, High draft pick, but not out there. Not out there. You haven't even really seen what the young man has. But nobody really mentions that. He goes under the radar when we start talking. But sometimes you have to look at like the draft picks, and it's like some injuries happen, but it seems to happen more frequently with these franchises right here. At least that's just my opinion. But what do I know? I'm just a fan. Another shout out to Nerd Focus. Get your brain right and your game tight with Nerd Focus energy drink. So, um, looking more at different things. You know, this being the end of March and it's been Women History Month. So my shout out this week goes to FloJo, Florence Griffith Joyner. FloJo, she made the rap song. She in the rap song. Baby Got Back. Sir Mix-a-Lot put her in there. You know, really, I shout her out because I think it was 88 world records in the 100 meters, and then the 200 meters. FloJo was everywhere. Great track and field star, and also again another shout out to Caitlin Clark for that 40-point triple double in the tournament. That's history right there. That's history, like in the present or in the past week or whatever. Instant history right there when you start thinking about it. But what's propelling is that the championship motors or even Olympic athletes. I used to love to watch the Olympics. I still love to watch certain events, but now they've gotten so many more events than when I was a kid. Compared to when I was a kid to now, it's so many more events, and the sophistication of the sport and how they able to look. Remember when it was a close race, you really couldn't. Like they had to freeze the frame in order to see, and now it's like you can slow mo it so much, and you can get so close to the details and the angles. Even the camera angles, everything's more lit now. And when you talk track and sometimes, especially in the past, certain athletes, got a little bit of light, and some got more light than others. That's why hats off to FloJo. She was able to do her thing. She was able to bring home the gold. Those are special moments. I think that anytime whether it's individual sport, whether it's able I think I'm special. That's just me. People dispute on how much championships and stuff mean to organizations. To each their own. Uh, Not here to dispute that. I can just tell you I loved but sometimes losing comes with it. You ever saw somebody lose and then say that, hey, you know what, don't worry about that, in a year or two they're gonna be back and they're gonna win it all. Those are the kind of things that I see, like when I look at the Boston Celtics, for instance. You see Jason Tatum, and you see his determination, and you see his drive to get better, and you see the young Celtics teams getting better, and you say, man, regardless of what, that guy's going to go somewhere. He's going to be back, whether he wins it all or not. But you're like, man, he probably going to win it all. He got a good chance of doing that thing. You ever just seen moments like that, or people like that that are inspiring? You say, man, like they're going to be champions at some point. And right now, what I'm looking at is I see that same type of play from a guy who I think could be a good role player. Um, Oganobi, I can't remember how you say his name, but he plays for the Raptors. Man, the young man is a beast out there on the court, and I think that in a while you'll see that championship prowess. Him and it depends on what Siakam decides to do, but I look at it like they could probably take Toronto to another level in a couple of years if they stay together. continue to grow together. That cohesiveness will probably really make a difference. I look at certain players. You say, man, why haven't they done anything yet? I think we talked about Dame, Dame Dollar enough last week, Dame Lil enough already, and how disappointing that is to watch that team. But outside of the teams that are tanking, the teams that have put it in, those are the teams that I commend the most. Those are the teams that I look at and I say, man, like at least you didn't tank, because certain teams, they were trying to be in it, and then they just don't have enough. Like when you look at, I was looking at the Pacers roster. Well, I was looking at the stat sheets from a game the other night, the Indiana Pacers, and I really didn't recognize hardly a name. I didn't, I don't know. I guess Halliburton, I don't know, is he hurt? Something going on, but that's how much, like certain teams you don't hear a lot about. And the Pacers are one of those teams right now. But remember when Indiana was always relevant? Is this not a low time for the Indiana Pacers? Has it not been a low time for them for a few years now, or maybe a decade or so? Like, you can't really say that you've heard much from them, other than when Paul George played for them. And then, they had brief moments, but this is not the Pacers that you probably used to, or maybe I'm thinking too old school, but I thought, the 90s, 2000s, these guys were relevant, early 2000s and stuff like that. They were relevant, but now you don't hear a whole lot about the Indiana Pacers. I just looking at their roster, I was like, who are these guys? They lacking talent, but to give a team props that's lacking talent and still hanging on, you got to say the Brooklyn Nets, man. The Brooklyn Nets just hanging on. They hanging on. Like, hey, they was fourth when Kyrie let it be known that they was the fourth seed in the East. They hanging on to the sixth seed. Who knows? They might slip to the seventh, but I doubt it. Looks like they going if they can just win a few more games, they gonna hang in there and be one of the top six and not have to worry about a play-in, stuff like that. But the Brooklyn Nets don't have a clear superstar anymore. But Mikal Bridges, I mean, I think he's playing all right. He's showing he's better than anticipated in my opinion, coming from Phoenix. He's, a little bit, not a names and him accepting a bigger role. So big up to Jock Vaughn and the Brooklyn Nets for hanging in there, man. They holding on. They holding on. Might be something more interesting. And a shift back. I was thinking about top players that didn't do well after being drafted in any sport. But before I get into that, Major League Baseball getting ready to start up. So, we're going to see how this pitch clock really works in real time soon. Opening day is approaching. My early predictions, the Padres still ain't going to be nothing, even though they spent $1 billion. They spent over $1 billion in the offseason. They still ain't going to be about nothing, spending $1 billion on contracts and still not to be about nothing. I don't think they're going to be that tough. I think the Padres are who we thought they were, and no matter how much money they spend, that organization just seems like it's not going to go anywhere. It's sort of like the Cleveland Browns to me. Like, certain organizations just don't, for some reason they don't pop. They may be a little bit more competitive, but I don't think it's going to put them up there. That's my prediction. They're not going to be up there. Like, they may make the playoffs, but that's as far as they're going to go. They're not going to threaten to win a title nor a pennant. I don't even think they're going to win. I don't think they're going to win the NL, the National League. It's too much competition, in my opinion. I think the Dodgers are still better than them, and I think the Giants are going to give them a run. The Giants seem to always surprise and pop up. So, they got that to worry about in their own division. You got to worry about the Diamondbacks. But I do look at their situation is, it's a peculiar one with all that money that was spent, and it's not going to yield anything, in my opinion. Yeah, that bubble will be bursted. I still think the Braves are going to be tough. Okay, so early on, right now, I would say a World Series matchup to me. I'm gonna put it out there. Not the only one that does this. It's not really much of a limb, but I'm gonna take uh, the LA Dodgers finally solidifying the NL. The NL, the National League, beating the Braves, getting over certain humps, and continuing to build presence over there. So I'm taking the LA Dodgers, and then in the AL, of course, I'm riding with my Yankees. My Yankees finally put it together. Yes, me being a diehard fan of the Yankees, I'm going to say that they finally put it together. But realistically, I wouldn't be surprised if the Stros repeat as champions. Just gonna put that out there. I know they started off the season with Altuve hurt. A couple of their key pieces hurt due to the World Baseball Classic, but I still think the Astros are going to be a tough team to reckon with. These are Astros on the hush. Probably um, get the AL nod, and then the Dodgers this year. And the only reason I'm going for the Dodgers is let's think money, let's think big time fanfare, let's think it's a diehard fan show, and uh, LA and New York would be like a great matchup, and that's in any sport. It's almost like the Lakers Celtics basketball, like that'll draw big. But if it was the Lakers and the Knicks, which it very well could be in the NBA, but nope, that's not going to happen. But it could be all the Clippers and the Knicks. Any those things would be explosive. Or the Clippers and the Nets, or any of those matchups, it'll be crazy because everybody in between would have to choose. And it stirs up this big controversy when it's something that major. So, but it's good controversy because it's sports. It's that thing that drives, that thing that drives great competition. So it'll be something to really look out for. LA versus New York. Um, Now the Mets. The Mets spend a lot of money too. I just don't see them really being a factor, even though they have decent pitching. The Mets and the Yankees, the two New York teams in recent times can't hit when they need to hit with all that firepower that they have. You got all these heavy hitters, but strike out when it comes to most. And I say that as a Yankee fan because it's disappointing. A guy like Aaron Judge, people are not care more about the wins. Are we going to win it all? Are we going to come out of the AL? Are we going to come out as World Series champs? That's what I care about. I'm not worried about. I said again, I don't care if he hits 2 home runs this year. We know he's going to hit more than 2. But if I have to make a prediction on home runs, I say he hits, I say he going to hit 35 or more. Not too many people have hit 60 back to back, so I don't know if he gonna achieve 50 or 60 or nothing. I think pitchers gonna take pride. You still have those traditional pitchers that's gonna take pride and say, "Hey, this guy's strikeout prone. We've seen him be strikeout prone, so I think they're going after him to strike him out." I don't think pitchers are gonna back down, except for in certain situations. But I think pitchers gonna say, "Hey, you know what? Enough's enough. We're not letting you get 60 no more." And so they're gonna do different things. But my question for baseball is the Angels. With all that talent that they have, are they gonna do anything? Are they gonna ball at all? Remains to be seen what the Angels are gonna do. With Otani and Trout, you got 2 of the best players in the game already. You building around them. Are the Angels gonna do anything to fight in the AL? The verdict is out. Y'all let me know. So, get ready to wrap this show up. Another thing I want to discuss the XFL and how excited how exciting it's been to watch the XFL. The USFL getting ready to start like April 15th or somewhere in the middle of April. But this XFL season, uh, good showing. I've said it before. It's exciting, but I don't like some of the rules. And I know there's one thing about watching the games. It's a bit annoying with the ref guy. I mean, I'm all for some explanations, but I like that the NFL doesn't overdo it like this, where this guy is always talking. I mean, I really don't want to hear from the officiating dude, the special guy, all the time, man. Nah, man, the call was the call. I don't care. You know, sometimes, okay, we get it. A bad call is a bad call, but is this a good call after every call and all? No, man, that takes away from the players, man. The focus should be the players. It shouldn't be the officiating that deep. Now, don't get me wrong, officiating is crucial, like I said, but it shouldn't be that deep. It shouldn't be that deep that we sitting behind the scenes watching this guy and this guy taking us through every, all the rigmaroles of this. Man, who want to hear that? Like, no, man. I think that's one thing they overdoing it. I think they should turn back a little bit on that. Turn back a little bit on the officiating guy talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, leave it to the commentators and stuff. I mean, some things are good to debate about and speculate about. Like, what were they thinking when they made that call, or were they seeing the same thing that we saw? I mean, I get it. Now on the big, certain calls, like I said, it's cool. I like the way the NFL does it. They don't discuss all of them, but when you're watching an NFL game, they discuss certain calls here and there, or what did you see, and it's real quick and it's brief. These guys seem to be elaborate with. Man, I was watching. I want to say I was watching the Roughnecks and the Defenders, and well, the Houston Roughnecks got so many flags that all you heard was this guy, this official, um, constantly talking Blanco, Blando, whatever his name is. That's all you kept hearing about is this official talking, and it's like, man, look, okay, we get it. You referee the games, but other than that, the games have been entertaining despite that aspect of it. Um, but in the future, if they shape that up, and in certain places, man, they getting like crazy fans already. Like the Defenders have a lot of fans. I was impressed at some of the games how packed the stadiums were. It just shows that football is one of those things that's always going to be needed, and no matter what names are on the jersey, sometimes people gonna show up and represent. So I like what the XFL is doing. Like I said, scale back on that and highlight the players a little bit more. That's my thing. I think as a fan, it's about familiarity and getting familiar with the players. But like I said, when you overshadow with them, with this is it's new, so this is what's different and this is what we do. But when you highlighting all those things, you take away players. Like you barely get to know the player's name or get familiar with the players. So and it's not just stats. Sometimes a person on the team can make you root against that team. It's fandom, baby. It's the beauty of being a fan, is that you get to pick and choose what you like and what you don't like. And for me, if I'm going to watch the XFL, I can do without all elongated officiating about the rules. Enough of the rules. Let's talk about the players. Let's highlight the players a little bit more. Let's put the players in the spotlight because they're the ones out there that's going to help you earn. And the more that the fans get familiar with the players, the better it is. I mean, you see, it works. It sells. It sells products. People. It sells things. Like, this is nothing new. So the XFL, highlight your players, baby. Put the focus on them. I mean, I like the coaches, but I'm listening to Wade Phillips talk too much. I'd rather hear from the quarterback himself. I'd rather hear from the players. It's a good shot every now and then up at the booth, looking at or listening to the players talk on the field, and watching the coordinators up in the box here and there. I mean, all that stuff is cool. But what about the players? What's his name? I mean, that's what I'm saying. What's their names? Highlight them. Scoring. Like I said, I like some of the extra point scoring. I like the idea that you can take the ball if you lose it, and instead of in lieu of an onside kick, you can take it 4th and 15. Those things make the game entertaining. I wouldn't necessarily, the NFL. I'm such a, like, I like the NFL the way it is. I hope that they don't adopt any of those changes. I don't know if these things are just exclusive to the XFL or how do you, but I hope the USFL plays a game similar to the structures that I like. I mean, I don't mind all those changes. I think it makes that league entertaining. It puts something on your mind. I think a few more teams. I'm looking forward to expansion in both the USFL and the XFL if they both become a big success. Like I said, you see early signs of the fans coming along in the XFL. Certain stadiums, like I said, we're rocking. I can't say that every game's been sold out, but a lot of games are being sold out. But as I get ready to get out of here, before I leave, thanks to Sports for America for putting me on. It's yours truly, Diehard Fan, the People's Coach, Cornelius Cole. Catch me next.